Well, good morning. I am thrilled to be with you this morning for the next 2 hours to take you on an excruciatingly detailed deep dive into the 401k. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm saving that especially for my friends in Polaris. Can't wait, guys. Actually, I'm here this morning to introduce you to the third of our Big Four strategies in action, Create a Special Place. And what I'm really thrilled to do this morning is share with you our Village People Strategy, because it came from you, our teammates. And the process for building our people strategy from the feedback of teammates reminds me of a quote, one of my favorite quotes from one of America's most esteemed thought leaders.
Put on your listening ears. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
All right. So although Judge Judy is a genius, at least in her own mind, this quote actually was coined over 2,000 years ago by the Greek philosopher Diogenes. Now, Diogenes, a lot of us haven't heard of, but he was actually a contemporary of two guys we have heard of, Plato and Aristotle. And along with them, he was a figure who was key to establishing principles of democracy that are at the foundation of our country and ultimately of our village. However, unlike Plato and Aristotle, who gave eloquent speeches in the Greek Academy, Diogenes was sort of what historians consider like the junkyard dog of Greek philosophers. He hung out in the Greek square and kind of like would lie in wait for the politicians to go by because he saw his calling in life to be holding leaders accountable for listening to the voice of the citizens. And this is his actual quote. "We have 2 ears and 1 tongue, so that we would listen more and talk less." And you can imagine him kind of shouting this at the Greek senators as they're on their way to the Senate. And I start with this quote because it really captures the spirit of our opening video, in which you saw the pillars of our Village People strategy literally built from the ground up, from the comments and feedback of teammates. And it captures the spirit today of this entire segment of Create a Special Place at Villagewide, and ultimately, and most importantly, of our Village People strategy. So where does all the feedback come from that we use to build our people strategy? So some of you might remember that you took a few surveys last year, and there were 4 in particular that we have leveraged to build our people strategy for the village. Now, the first one was focused on FAs only, and that was our FA job satisfaction survey. And that was focused on determining what things we do in the village make your job satisfying and what things make it dissatisfying. The second was focused on all leaders of others, Atlas and Field, and that was the People Services 360. And that assessment is focused on what we do as a village that helps you attract, retain, and engage the best talent, and the things we do that don't help. The third was focused on all of our teammates, and you know it well. That's our Teammate Engagement Pulse Survey. What changed last year is that we moved to doing it quarterly so we would get more frequent feedback, and we added comments so that we could get qualitative info from our teammates on how to improve their experience. And then finally, for the first time ever, the DaVita Rewards Survey. And in that survey, we asked all teammates to force rank different elements of their teammate experience, from compensation to benefits to development to recognition, and tell us where they would like our village to invest more and less to give them the optimal experience. So what was the outcome of all of those surveys? Well, across all 4 of our surveys, we had over 100,000 responses and over 80,000 comments from teammates, which gave us a rich reservoir to draw from to build our strategy. And ultimately, there were 3 big themes that emerged from those 100,000 responses and 80,000 comments. First, you said you need a continuous flow of the right talent into your clinic and then from inside the village in order to create a thriving environment. And there were a lot of comments about this, and you see one up on the screen right now from a teammate. It is really important that we continue to train and develop the talent we already have. Secondly, you said to have an even more fulfilling experience in the village, you need to be able to help make ends meet, and you also need help simplifying your job, as is exemplified by this comment from one teammate. Juggling school and work is hard. I need to work more to keep my family afloat. And thirdly, you said that in addition to saving lives, what makes your job in the village fulfilling is being able to do it in the DaVita way, as exemplified by this teammate comment. Culture, mission, and core values are the heart of DaVita. If you believe in this, it will make your work experience more meaningful while working for the village. So from those 3 themes in the comments of the survey, we have built our people strategy pillars, also known as our multi-year objectives. So they are a talent and leadership pipeline, a fulfilling teammate experience, and keeping the DaVita way alive and well in every neighborhood. So first, for a talent and leadership pipeline, how many of you have hired someone in the last year? Raise your hand. Okay, so almost everybody. So if you raised your hand, I don't need to tell you that it's a tough hiring environment out there. So this headline from the New York Times is from last fall. And in this headline, what the New York Times is identifying is that at that time, we were in the tightest labor market, so the lowest unemployment, since 2009. Now today, it's the tightest labor market since 2001, in 17 years. So what that means is that we are all in this together, fishing in the same pond with other employers that is rapidly diminishing. So what are we going to do about that as a village? Well, there are really 3 things we're focused on in our people strategy to address this. So first is hiring ahead of need. So now what most hiring experts will tell you is that when you get to a situation like we're in, as in many of your markets where we're at near full employment, the only way you're going to get ahead of vacancies is to start hiring ahead of the actual openings. So today in the village, our time to fill, that's the time it takes from when you open a job requisition until we have an accepted job offer, is 39 days. Now that's actually 10 days better than the healthcare average of 49 days. But it's not good enough to ease the pain that all of you feel from having vacancies in your clinics, and it's not good enough to ease the pain that the village is feeling right now from historically high rates of overtime and contract labor use. So what do we do about it? Well, this quarter, we're launching divisional hiring councils across the village, and they will consist of operating leaders, recruiting leaders, and divisional finance leaders. And their goal is to figure out the best way to both forecast job openings before they happen, to plan budget-wise for those, and to come up with a protocol to enable us to get ahead of them before they happen. Now, to complement that, secondly, we're going to be focusing on how we can boost the external pipeline of talent in from outside our village. And there are a couple things we're doing in this regard. So first, as Javier mentioned yesterday, in the last couple of years, we have doubled the number of recruiters focused on clinical hiring in the village, and it's still not enough. So we will be hiring additional recruiters this year to focus on clinical hiring needs. In addition, however, we're going to address something that I call kind of the leaky sieve syndrome. So in the Village today, almost 30% of our job requisitions end up getting canceled once they're open. Now, what that results in is this. Recruiters are actually outsourcing candidates for those requisitions before they get canceled, and we end up not doing anything with those candidates. And that means that those recruiters are not working on your requisitions. So one of the things that we're going to ask our hiring councils to focus on is how we can get the number of canceled recs down so that recruiters are focused on the jobs that you really need filled. Thirdly, we're going to focus on boosting our internal talent pipeline. And I'm super excited this morning that you're going to see a number of examples of where the Village is making down payments on new programs to enable us to identify talent and fast track them into RN, FA, and ROD jobs. And you're going to see these programs in just a minute, but I'm going to show you one now that I'm really excited about. And it's a new program from Redwoods called Foresters. And Foresters is going to pilot this summer. It will be a 7-month program, and it's designed to develop skills for FAs to get ready for the ROD position. And it's going to focus So Foresters, which symbolizes the idea of us as leaders cultivating and growing talent, is going to focus on 3 key capabilities that are needed in the regional operations director role. So first, helping to manage strategic growth. Secondly, managing diverse, dispersed teams. And thirdly, managing strategic stakeholder relationships. So stay tuned for more this summer on the Redwoods Forester program. Now, the second pillar of our people strategy in the Village is consistent delivery of a fulfilling teammate experience. Now, in the opening video, you got a glimpse of our new Village people vision, which is to unleash teammate potential, to unlock our Village performance, creating a special place where the DaVita way is alive and well. And it is my aspiration that every one of you in this room and every teammate in our Village be able to say that in being a teammate at DaVita, I have learned something that not only helps to make me better at my job, but also has helped me in some way to become a better human being, a better parent, a better spouse, a better community member. So next, I'd like to introduce you to an inspiring story of a teammate who has done just that. She has leveraged some of our Village programs, in particular, our Almada program and our Be Well program, in order to help herself unleash her own potential, as well as that of her team and her family. So Michelle Workman is a Group FA in Fusion. Those are Michelle's fan club. And Michelle has generously agreed to share her story with us this morning, and here it is.
Hi, I'm Michelle Workman, and I'm a nurse and a group facility administrator from Dayton, Ohio. My Be Well journey began March of this year. A fellow FA came to me and started talking to me about this Almada program that she was doing, and she wanted me to join her. Next thing you know, I got an email, and the email asked me 2 very important questions, and that's probably what drove it home. Was I at risk for heart disease and diabetes? Well, I didn't really need a quiz for that. I had a mirror. I knew I was. I was probably at my heaviest weight. Because of Village Vitality and those screenings, I could go back and check, and for the last 4 years, I'd gained over 20 pounds since being with the Village. And you know, it just wasn't right. Now, I had went back to school and I got my bachelor's degree, so I had excuses. And that's all they were, was excuses. Because at the end of the day, it came down to making a choice to be healthy and to be well long term. I decided to make that journey. So I joined Almada, and I'm proud to say now, through the Wi-Fi scale and the weekly lessons every Sunday that just come and they're just timed so perfectly and they're amazing, I'm down 49 pounds. But what I really realized was it was way more than about the weight loss. It was everything else that came with it. My family is now more active than we've ever been, and now I'm starting to see it ripple out. And that's the really fun part. And actually, that's the part that motivates me even more. When I go around to my 6 facilities, teammates see me, and because of my appearance, they want to talk to me about my journey. And I get to help them through it and tell them about Amada and tell them about all the great things that they have available to them too, just because they're citizens of this village. Not only that, now my entire family, we're Planet Fitness members. Who saw that coming? You know, I'm down there in the gym with my teenagers. It's a great thing. So my next goal is Tour DaVita 2018. I want the medal right here. We're training, we're on the bicycles, and I think it's amazing. So I just want to say thank you.
Michelle is here with us this morning in the audience, and I'd like to ask her to stand so we can acknowledge her achievement and thank her for creating ripples. And I also want to point out that, as you noticed in the video, Michelle said that one of her aspirations for this year was to be fit enough to ride in Tour DaVita, and I am pleased to announce that she is in fact riding in Tour DaVita. Congratulations, Michelle. Okay, around teammate experience, there are 2 things that you said above all else you wanted help on from the village. And the first is stretching your paycheck. Second is making your job easier and more fulfilling. So in this segment of Create a Special Place, we are going to introduce you to a number of new village down payments we're making in both of these efforts. And to help whet your appetite for what's to come, I'm going to show you a short little video that gives you the highlights.
The results are in from the DaVita Rewards Survey, and we are using your feedback to strengthen our village. We're investing in you through several programs, and the first is PCT Initial Certification Prepay. PCTs, as of April 1st, will no longer pay their first certification out of their own pocket. Second is Bridge to Your Dreams. This pilot develops high-performing PCTs into RNs by providing fully funded tuition, schedule flexibility, and support. Third is Nurse Gateway, a platform for RNs to further their professional practice, explore careers, and connect with other RNs in the village. Fourth is Thrive. Thrive develops RN teammates into operational managers through individual mentoring, dedicated learning space and time, and hands-on experience as a village leader. In 2018, we will also add a personalized benefits experience, from finding the right fit for you to increased savings opportunities, including reducing health plan costs, personal services, same-day pay, and additional discounts. We're committed to investing in you, now and in the future. You said, we did. Visit DaVitaRewards.com for more.
So this video will be available to take back with you after Villagewide to your teams to introduce them to some of the new investments the village will be making in them this year. In addition, available to you will be DaVitaRewards.com, a new site we've created to capture all of the new investments we're making in teammates so that we can add to them as we move along. And finally, around teammate experience, on May 24th, we'll be launching our inaugural Teammate Experience Call, and I invite all of you and your teammates to join us for that. And in that call quarterly, we will be sharing best practices from around the village at creating a differentiated teammate experience, as well as new programs to help teammates. Now, finally, our third pillar of the Village People Strategy is keeping the DaVita Way alive and well in every neighborhood. And what you said across our survey process was that, as I said, in addition to saving lives, one of the most important parts for you personally and for your teams and in your role as a leader in attracting and retaining talent is the DaVita Way. However, some of you said that although across our village, the DaVita Way is for sure alive and well, there are moments where we all could use some help in our neighborhoods bringing it to life. So our wisdom team has created 3 new resources we'll be presenting to you this morning to help each of us create the DaVita Way and make it alive and well in our neighborhoods. And Dave Herman, our Chief Wisdom Officer, will be with us shortly to present those. So that is really a 30,000-foot view of our village people strategy. In the next few minutes, we're going to be taking a deep dive into each of the 3 pillars so that you understand well when you leave today how the village is investing in you and your teammates, as well as what you as leaders can do to help bring these to life. So in closing, I just want to say that my aspiration for each one of you and that of the team who put together the section that is to come is that you leave today really feeling in your heart that your voice has been heard, that you really see with your eyes that the feedback you have given has been translated into real solutions that'll make a difference, and that you're inspired to unleash your own potential and that of your teammates to help our village be the partner, provider, and employer of choice. So today, to try to bring these concepts really to life for you, we are presenting them in a format we're calling DaVita Vision. Now, DaVita Vision is going to consist of 3 primetime shows. First, the DaVita dating game, which is going to help you learn how to woo and develop talent to create a talent pipeline, followed by the FA Feud, in which you will learn how the village is addressing pain points in the teammate and especially FA experience. And finally, hashtag DaVita Way, in which you will learn about 3 new resources to help you make the DaVita Way alive and well in your neighborhood. So with that, I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.